there's big news. I'm sure you know about this. Everybody's talking about it. But are you equipped with the right type of information? When it comes to information, there's only one way to get information. People must be bus. But sometimes you don't have to be bus. Introducing a special edition of Don't Be Bus with Petrus.
Hy is ons persoonlike bus.
I'm bus general.
You are the golden arrow of this show. Can I tell you, when it comes to tea or celebrity gossip or stuff, like you'll tell you stuff about your life, Zoe, that you didn't even know yet.
He knows.
Yes.
He knows everything.
You'll be like, Wastie, come here. Just want to tell you, your contract's not being renewed, eh? Just letting you know. Like, thanks for that tea. Yo, bruh. Okay, but here's the thing. I want us to be equipped with the right type of information. Because you know what happens? When you see something that's thrown to you, or a voice note gets sent around with fake news or whatever that may be, then you just take it for what it is and you go, yes, no more masks, let's go. But this thing's been gazetted by government. It has been officially repealed. I think we need to go through the foundations of the no mask wearings, just so we know what's happening, especially when it comes to on the business level and the school level. Let's start with basics.
Okay, the basics is this.
Yeah.
As of last night, I think it came out around 10, 11 o'clock, it was gazetted that the wearing of face masks in public, indoors, outdoors, no longer required. So in simple sense, you don't need a mask anymore.
So I can walk into a shopping center and just walk in without my mask?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay, sorry. Do you know? See, this guy knows tea.
He does.
Knows the tea. So what is the nuance around the shopping centers now?
Okay, so I did speak to some of our friends at some of the shopping centers who's confirmed that, you know, people have been walking around the malls without their masks on, and they are not being shown away. They're not going to tell you, leave the mall.
Yeah.
But there is a little something you need to know.
All right.
A business owner can still say to you, no, if you want to come into my shop, you have to wear a mask. That is up to the business owner.
That is cause for a bit of conflict in the future. Eh? I have to say this now, because you can't have a gazetted thing there, and then now the person who is maybe an antagonist with regard to wearing a mask is now going to say, but the government says so, and you can't be into your establishment. I'm going to go on and give you a bad review. I just feel like it's kind of dangerous for businesses. That's sick of it.
Well, it's not something I just dug up.
Yeah.
We actually have the minister on that.
Okay, cool.
If you run a facility, whatever that facility, you have the right to determine regulations. Whether you run a shop, whether you run a restaurant, whether you run a hotel, you can have your own regulations for that facility.
Okay, well, that actually that clears it up well, because now there can be no, because I was worried about the customer versus business owner conflicts, because you know there are so many of those. So at least we know now that's
exactly the simplest way to put this is, if you've ever gone to a restaurant, if you've ever gone to a mall, you'll always see there's a sign up that says right of admission reserved.
Yes.
That means that it's up to the owner of that business to decide whether they want you in the business or not.
I understand.
It makes sense.
And that is, I feel like that point of clarity is vital in order to avoid potential conflict going forward for anybody who is uncomfortable with the concept of mask wearing in a facility. At least you know that it's backed by the government in that regard, that particular business or facility has a right to have their own regulations. Done and dusted. I love it. We need to talk about schools.
Okay, now again, the regulations say you don't have to wear a mask. That's what the regulations say.
Yeah.
But even though that's what the regulations say, a school has what they call a school governing body.
Yes.
And they're the ones who make the rules for the school.
All right.
At the end of the day. And this is what Minister Joe Pachla had to say about schools and wearing of masks.
The school governing body of a school, for instance, just as an example, meet and decide that for the purpose of their school, they are happy with their children wearing masks in the school. That's the school policy, but it's not a government policy. I think we must just make that distinction.
All right. So essentially what you were saying is that a school has a right to uphold the mask wearing rule.
That's correct.
Because that's a school, for, a lot like what you said with business owners, that entity is treated in the same way. Your school gets a chance to say, right, this is our school. It's a smaller school. The contact is a little bit, it's smaller classrooms. Therefore, we don't have enough space and we're going to have to uphold the mask wearing, but that is up to the school's governing body, and I'm sure that communique will come from the governing body to the parents of the kids at that school.
That's correct.
All right.
Now, look, I know a lot of schools have decided we're dropping the mask wearing.
Yes.
But if the school decides, it's up to the school governing body that made that decision. And again, I want to go back to what I said about the right of admission reserved.
Yes, I got you.
The sign by the entrance.
So if you enroll your kid in a school, you basically agree to their rules, to their terms and conditions.
Yeah. And then obviously you can lay whatever appeal or whatever information or whatever you want to do. You go directly to the principal or the governing body and you make that email, and you are respectful in the process. Because I know that, once again, there are potential conflicts with that particular rule around there, especially if a school, and let's just say you have one kid in primary school, one kid in high school. And the one kid in primary school is going to school without a mask. The high school one is still upheld, and that one has to wear a mask. I know that a lot of parents will feel uncomfortable with that. So I completely understand, provided that there is proper, professional, and peaceful communique between parent and school. I'm happy.
Well, I agree with you there. I think it's just about being respectful. Remember, it was something we were expecting, but then it happened suddenly last night. And even this morning, I'll take myself as an example. I wanted to message our boss and go, listen, what's the stance of the company? Do we still wear masks in the building? Mm-hmm. Do I still have to have my temperature taken? So, I think a lot of people were caught off guard in that sense.
I got you.
But now we've at least got clarity. And the biggest thing that we just have to remember is that the government regulation states that you don't have to wear a face mask anymore.
And this is blanket. So traveling. Sorry, I just want to
traveling. You can fly without a mask
in a bus on the way to work, in a taxi on the way to work, in a carpool on the way to all of those things. Okay.
Yes, you can go to. I saw a thing from Virgin Active.
Yes.
They said you don't have to wear a mask when you come to the gym anymore.
All right.
Just quickly touching on something else that was changed last night as well was the restriction on the numbers of people going to a gathering. Easiest example is URC final this weekend. There were 27,500 people. Now, what this means, if the URC final was held this coming weekend, 55,000 people would have been allowed.
Imagine,
wow,
okay.
Imagine, yeah.
This is an important chat. I wanted to get the nuances of this thing out there in the most basic terms, because I know there's going to be questions. There will be potential conflicts. So long as we got this done and dusted and we've imparted this knowledge, it's quite important, because I know what's coming. I know the conflicts at the doors of those businesses and those schools and the parents, and so we just need to make sure that whatever we do in terms of our personal preferences, that those are respected.
Yes.
That's very, very important. But at least we know that the mask wearing, it's done and dusted, a thing of the past. However, what you choose to do with your mask is definitely your right. So if you want to continue wearing it, I don't think anybody can look at you and say, why are you wearing a mask? The government says you don't have to. Please don't do that. Don't be that type of person. If somebody wants to wear it, let them feel safe. It's like somebody wearing a big leather jacket in summer. I know you're like, it's so hot. It's fine. Let them wear the jacket. Cool.
It's their choice.
Thank you, man.
Only a pleasure.
That's beautiful. All right.
The show that drives you home with the most music. The Flash Drive with Carl Wastie. Only on KFM 94.5.